Welcome to the Hire Yourself podcast. My name is Pete Gilfill, and I'm here with my business partner, Nat Truitt, and we're all about helping people become entrepreneurs or just better business people. Good morning, Nat.
Hey, Pete, you sound pretty rested up. I was kind of curious how it's going with the puppy.
Well, 2 cups of coffee, so that kind of masked the puppy fatigue from that standpoint. So we're now, I think, 3 weeks into this puppy, and it's getting the best of us. I gotta tell you. So the darn thing won't sleep for more than 3-4 hours. It's great at night. So yeah, I just kind of wake up my wife and say, I think your puppy needs to go out. So yeah, everybody's a little tired in the house, but we were at the vet the other day, and the vet's looking at the puppy, and one of the paws basically faces out. So it instead of being facing straight, it faces out.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, no, and that's what the vet said. That's not so good, right? So the dog in his leg, basically the bones are growing at different paces or speed,
okay.
And so it's causing it to hurt his paw to twist.
Wow.
So now this is a designer dog, Nat. So we're $3,500 into this dog. Yeah. 2 weeks into it, we find out we got a dog that most likely will have to have surgery. Right? Now, when we talk
and
about,
you probably have to carry it up and down the stairs all the time.
Yeah, right. So yeah, we're gonna see, right? So I'm not so sure I want to carry a 70-pound dog up and down the stairs, right? So,
oh man.
so that is the adventure of our puppy. So I don't know. I want to get one of those. On another podcast, we'll talk a little bit about those geofences. Those sound really cool.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We'll take that on later. So anyways, thanks for asking about our new addition to our family.
All right. So, what we got going today in the franchise world?
So, we talked last week a little bit about service-based businesses. So I thought what we do is we should talk a little bit about, is a facility-based business right for you? Right. So let's talk a little bit about facility-based franchises. So let's define a facility-based franchise. It's a business that offers a product or service within a facility. So the customer comes to the facility, they walk in through the door and they say, I have a need or want, and you got to take care of them. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about the pros and cons. And as we talk about facility-based concepts, I think in many ways, it's just a simpler sales model. Right. So the idea of somebody walking through the door and you just got to take care of them. Do you see that?
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like it's almost like real estate a little bit, like location. And then the other thing is, like, a lot of times the franchises will have brand recognition, right? Yep. So you think about Jimmy John's or Orange Theory, Massage Envy, things like that. So whether it's food or, Massage Envy would actually be a service within a facility.
Right. But if you walk into a Jimmy John's, you're going to get a Jimmy John's.
Exactly.
Right? You're not shopping for. So, hey, what your sub? Okay, I'm going to walk next door and see.
Exactly.
Right. Or if you walk into a Massage Envy, you're going to get a massage, right?
Yeah.
So they've come
pretty
to you.
Straightforward.
So it's pretty. Do you want tomatoes on there? Okay, the price is this, right? Or you want the deep tissue massage, right? So I think it's just a simpler sales because people are coming to you and you just got to take care of them. What about this idea that a facility, it's easier to contain? We talked last week a little bit about service-based business. We got trucks and crews and more spinning plates, but when we talk about a facility-based concept, do you see that as being more kind of contained and controlled?
I for sure, I think so. You think about like all the technology that franchises are using these days with cameras, and you can, on your iPhone, you can pretty much run your entire facility. You can see what's going on 24 hours a day. You have real time, like point of sales with the cash or credit, and you know what's going on with the money. So, and you have, I would say, most retail probably has, like, I don't know, 7 to 15 employees. What would you guess, Pete?
Yeah, it just depends, right? It depends on how complicated the operation is.
How many hours a week
if it's
a
fitness concept, you might have a manager and a couple counter people and 7 instructors, right? Part-time, of course. So, but to me, I look at a facility-based concept, it's very contained and controlled, right? You got a manager in that facility, and when the customer walks through, all that manager has to do is make sure that they have a great experience, right? And it's got 4 walls, it's got systems, it's got cameras, so it's very contained, it's very controlled. When you talk talk about service-based businesses, you just got trucks and crews, you got more spinning plates. So I look at it as being more contained and controlled. What about this idea that you see a lot of facility-based franchises? They allow you to be semi-absentee. So as the owner, I can have 3 locations, a manager at each. Do you see that a lot?
Yeah, I think it's pretty doable, especially as you're kind of going through signing the lease and working on, construction and all those type of things. And, it kind of depends on your people skills, or team building skills too, right? About getting that right manager, putting in the right incentive plan to keep them motivated. But I see it very doable. A lot of guys will, they'll open up 3 locations basically simultaneously. It's just they're ready to go.
Yeah,
so
the key though is you got to have good leadership skills and good
Yeah.
time management skills, right?
Mhm.
So if you're going to be semi-absentee, the success depends on your ability to find the right people, I believe, and number 2 is to lead them.
Yeah. I think some guys, they kind of like what they're doing at corporate, so they want to, keep doing that and get some plan B going on the side. Other guys are like, they're kind of excited to be involved in the process, so they jump in and, kind of manage a lot of the construction and get all the startup going. So I think facility based or retail kind of meets you where you're at, whatever scenario. Just have to, if you're going to be more absentee, you're probably going to be deploying more cash or capital is the trade-off.
Yeah, I think we always use the term semi-absentee because you always have to mind your business. But agreed, right? If you're going to have that manager, you're paying for that. But on the that's just the benefit of it. But yeah, absolutely. What about this idea that when we walk into a facility, in most cases when we talk about franchises, there's smaller transactions, right? There's just less emotion, right? I'm not emotionally connected to that sub sandwich I'm going to buy or that haircut I'm going to get. Right? Well, don't make fun of my hair or lack of hair, but the idea is that
I know I was just like haircut. What?
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't say. When's the last time you got a haircut?
When have you been to that Supersonic Car Wash, by the way?
I have not.
There's one on kind of out by you, and it was like the McDonald's of car washes. I was so amazed, talking about kind of like lower transaction cost and higher volume. It was like you went. It was so organized. I was so amazed, and if you can believe this, it was the best car wash I ever got.
Really?
Yep, 100%.
What made it the best car wash for you?
Well, the car was really clean. And they towel dried it. I didn't have to get out. Like it was really clean was what made it the best to me.
Is it a touchless car wash?
Yeah.
All right. I like those ones where they don't have the it's basically just water from a standpoint. All right. I have to check that out because, I love getting my car washes. So,
and they you could get like a membership. This one's kind of far from my house, so I wouldn't be able to do that. But they have a membership where it's basically unlimited car washes, and it was really reasonable. So kind of, I like the membership things, like the different gyms and even some of the hair cutting places these days, they'll have.
Well, and that's the advantage of a facility-based concept, right? Because you can have that recurring revenue members from that standpoint. Yeah. And I think with a facility-based concept, sometimes you maybe need less skilled team members, right? So the people that are drying off the cars or making the sub sandwiches, those are pretty general skill sets that are easily trained.
Yeah, I think, for sure that is true. You can have kind of entry-level employees.
Yeah. Now, as we talk about the cons, so there are lots of pros to facility-based concepts, but as we take a look at facility-based concepts, they just tend to be larger investments, right?
Yeah, they're substantial.
Well, I mean, I always say if a service-based business, you need a minimum of like $100,000 investment, right? Facility-based, it's $200,000. The time it's a minimum $200,000 total investment. Yeah. If you're doing a first-class franchise, for sure. So they tend to be large investments, but I think they're also tied to a bigger commitment.
Talk about that. What do you mean?
Well, because you are not only are you signing the franchise agreement, which is a long-term commitment, right? You're agreeing to partner with them, so you're paying for the rights to partner with them, but you are also, with a facility-based concept, you're signing that lease. And in many cases, you're signing that long-term lease and you've got a personal guarantee on it. So I think a facility-based concept, there's just a larger commitment associated with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally true. You think about too, like, you and I don't necessarily work with that many like big restaurant franchises like Culver's or McDonald's and things like that. But a lot of times, it's like a big chunk of real estate that they're dealing with and building from the ground up. So it can be a really, really big commitment.
Yeah, I guess that adds the kind of that third piece to it, is that you're buying the land, right? You're buying the dirt. So that can even, and we talk about car washes or fast food restaurants, stuff like that. You're right. In most cases, you're buying the dirt too, right?
Yeah, and I think those are good, like kind of like once you have your feet wet, kind of doing a little bit more simple retail franchise. Maybe in 10 years, and you kind of build your war chest, you could tackle some of those huge. I mean, I don't even know. I couldn't even guess what one of those car wash things would cost. It's got to be millions.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I looked at it from that standpoint for sure. Very cool though, because I love car washes. What about this idea of time to launch the business, right? We talked last week about service-based businesses. Literally, you can sign, go to training, and open up. You can be open in a couple of months. But what do you see in regards to facility-based concepts? Because it just takes more time.
Mm-hmm. I think some of the fitness ones, which are a little bit more lightweight, you can get open a little bit faster. But if you're starting to do a bunch of remodeling, or even right now with the way the economy is, it seems like a lot of the contractors are pretty busy, so it could drag out. So I probably would kind of budget like 9 to 12 months, I guess, to get the doors open.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like if you signed your lease on July 1, right? It's going to take you anywhere from 4 to 12 months to find that site, right? To negotiate the lease, right? So you could be in the first quarter of 2022, believe it or not, when you find that facility, and then you got to build it out. To your point, it may take a little bit of time. So you're at 9 months to 12 months to get something open, realistically, from that standpoint. And then, from a standpoint of a facility, so it just takes more time to get it launched, but also you're kind of tethered to that facility from the standpoint is you just have less flexibility. I mean, that business is open, certain days or most days or every day in today's economy, and so many hours, right? So you have less flexibility with your schedule.
Yeah, but you can also flip that on its head and say it's predictable too, right? Because you know when it's open or when it's not open, things like that. But yeah, you definitely know you have an address, where where your employees are going to be.
Yeah, well, absolutely. But I think about the service-based businesses from the standpoint is that they tend a lot of times to be what we call lifestyle businesses, right? Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday. So facility-based concepts, you don't have necessarily that flexibility.
Right. Sure. People want their sandwich when they want their sandwich, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I was driving, my son and I were driving last night, and I was like, check your phone and see if, this Starbucks is open, or this one, it's like 8:30 at night, so it wasn't very late. And sure enough, like one of them was actually already closed. And one was still open. So we had to kind of divert and go to the one further away because it was still open. Yeah. But just, great example. Like, when you own a retail business, you need to be open so your customers can come there.
Well, my car wash, because I told you I go to the car wash. I mean, literally, the guy that owns it, he's the one that collects the money. You got to watch your pennies, right? And so literally, he is there 7 days a week from 8 to 5, like clockwork, right? I mean, he never misses at all. So, excellent. Well, Nat, definitely a lot of pros and cons to investing in a facility-based concept. Thank you for all your wisdom you shared with us today. Thanks.
All right. And by next week, I want to hear that puppy is sleeping through the night.
You're torturing me here. All right. Have a great week.
All right. Cheers. Thanks for listening to the Hire Yourself podcast. For more resources, check out our website at hireyourself.com. And remember to subscribe to this podcast to receive each episode. Please leave us a rating, and we'd love to hear your feedback or suggestions for topics.